Welcome to the next instalment of the Nest State of the Market interview series, where we bring influential people in e-commerce marketing into the Nest offices and ask them about their views on the state of the market. And my guest today doesn't need much introduction. He's probably the only person I know who's more excited about e-commerce and marketing in the UK. I introduce Dave Morrissey. You can please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Luke. I'm very excited about e-commerce. So hi, I'm Dave. I am leading the growth e-commerce and retail team at TikTok. I have about over 10 years experience in e-commerce, advertising and tech, from a variety of startups to bigger platforms, and now I'm at the most exciting platform of the decade, TikTok.
Great, thank you. And you're obviously exposed to a lot of different e-commerce advertisers, a lot of different stages of business, but I guess you have a really good vantage point in the market. I guess what would be really interesting for us to understand is, where do you think the market's at the moment? How are the crosswinds impacting everyone?
It's a bit of a basket case. Like the market we're in, there's no denying it, we're in recessionary times, particularly in the UK. And that brings opportunities and challenges depending on your mindset. I think if you have a bit of a goldfish mindset, you're kind of going around in circles and not thinking back or looking forward, you're going to be in for a bad time. But if you're a positive pragmatist, you're going to win. Your brand is going to win. Like, there is mountains of data out there proving that in past recessions, if you market through, if you ramp up paid media and are somewhat bullish about it, you're going to win out. On top of that, then everything's getting even more fragmented. There's more channels, there's more touch points for consumers. Omni-channel is now becoming almost a necessary evil for a D2C brand. They might have thought, okay, we can keep going where we were just online, but I think finding the customer where they are is crucial. So with that reason, mindset is everything, but the actions and behaviors you have within that mindset is key. So for a brand to thrive in this market in mega flux, you have to be a bit of a jack of all trades, but a master of one, and that one is customer focus.
Very interesting. And what do you see coming for the rest of 2023?
I think this is the year, I think we've already seen it, just the start of this year, is humans and robots are going to go on a date together. So what I mean there is, we've seen this, and maybe it's just the bubble of LinkedIn, but ChatGPT has just exploded, and people are now starting to realize, okay, AI and humans are working together. So AI and humans have matched each other in a wonderful app called ChatGPT. So now they're going to start working together and going on dates and seeing how they get on. Very, very interesting time to be a marketer or anyone in work. I think work culture could transform because of this. Also, pinch of salt, there's a lot of hype as well. So it's going to be a very interesting year on that regard, where AI and creativity come together. This is the year, really, truly, I fundamentally believe, and we're seeing the data on this, that TikTok is an essential performance channel for marketers, particularly in e-commerce. Last year was more of a let's test and see. Some of the more positive pragmatists were leaning in and kind of moving fast and had a first mover advantage. But we've seen, particularly in peak, and now my team are reporting back to me saying a lot of brands, most brands they're talking to, are seeing positive performance already. First week of January, which is kind of unheard of. So this is the year that if you're a performance marketer, it's essentially of TikTok involved with in your marketing mix with the others. And it's just a matter of how much you add it to your mix. But if you want to capture that audience that spend around 120 minutes a day on the app, huge audience watching films, worth of content a day. If you want to get to that audience for performance, you have to lean into creative and kind of change how you do it. It's a new creative muscle. You need a lot more volume, and you need to be a lot more human-led, UGC-led. But if you do that, you capture that audience and you capture performance.
And on the kind of performance marketing element of what you talked about, there's a lot of discussion around where TikTok sits in the funnel. Like, where do you guys, obviously that differs from brand to brand, from strategy to strategy, but what's the kind of TikTok view on where it sits in the funnel compared to the other channels?
It's pretty full funnel. Like it essentially is full funnel. You've 120 minutes time spent in the app. Obviously, for views, it's incredible. CPMs are very, very competitive. That's known well in the industry. But as I said, now that the pixels start to warm up, the algorithms really start to warm up with over years of data, particularly with peak. There's a lot of activity, traffic, and conversions in peak. I think that's been the real tipping point now, that this is a really stable and very scalable performance channel. So it's about going at it with a full holistic view, going for the audience, going for the time spent, but looking for the conversions. And also, this is a year to look at the TikTok Shops element to it. We have a case study coming out from a brand probably this week, who tested ads to TikTok Shop. So in-feed ad, brought to checkout, 17% lift in CPA. That's going to open up the floodgates. That's where we're going to see the whole experience, the whole full funnel experience happening all within the app.
Amazing. So no attribution problems.
No, which is going to be great for everyone, because my pet peeve of e-commerce used to be creative, which was a product on a white background following around the web. Just a bit of a scourge. It's not like for a customer. It doesn't make your brand look good. Thankfully, that's changing. Changing quite a lot. It's more human-led. It's more UGC-led. It's more playful. To capture an audience and get them converted, you have to be kind of playing that game now. But last click and GA, I do not understand marketers still abiding by this means of measurement. It's like if you got a laptop today and you said to Apple, no, I don't want Mac OS. I don't want the latest Mac OS. I want Windows 95. That's basically what you're saying. It is a prehistoric way of looking at measuring, particularly in a very fragmented and a mobile space. You have to lean into exploring attribution at a deeper level, looking at where the customer is. And this is, again, if you have a customer first mindset, you will look, the customer isn't going to convert on every just one touch point all the time. That's not a reality. They're everywhere. Many channels, many platforms. You have to see them where they are and then measure around that. And last click attribution with J is not going to cut it. It's prehistoric.
Yeah, agreed. And it's also those advertisers that do leverage more advanced attribution methodologies have a competitive advantage over those that don't.
Yeah.
Like they can understand the value of TikTok.
They see reality.
Yeah.
And that's again, as I said, be a positive pragmatist. Look at the reality, look at your customer. If you're a positive pragmatist, you look at the data from past times with recessions, you know it's a good time to be marketing through it. The same goes with attribution. Like if you look where the customer is, their journey, attributing one element to that journey just does not make sense. And there's a wealth of partners out there. I know we did a wonderful webinar with Phosphate before Christmas. Talk to Phosphate, talk to other marketing or attribution partners out there. Just talk to them and understand what they can see with other very fast moving great D2C brands, and understand what they see and just explore that. This is the year to explore attribution properly and bake it into your marketing.
Yeah, just going back to your what you're talking about with the creative and UGC, there's a lot of kind of talk around UGC at the moment, specifically within D2C. It's obviously, from a creative production point of view, the cheapest route to creative, beyond like repurposing other assets. And lots of D2Cs have got really good at it. You know, the front runners on TikTok, and, you know, they're also using it on Meta as well. What do you think? If you look into the future, do you think it will be more UGC, or do you think everyone will learn how to do that and then there'll need to be a new style of creative to cut through? Like what's next in your mind?
I think it's here to stay, to be honest. Well, first of all, we see the data in this. Like we see that human-led or creator-led, if you want to put another term in it, assets do not fatigue as quick as your products, like nice glossy products or assets from other channels that worked well there. Very human-led, very upfront, very playful. That's what's working. I often say to marketers, is like, you kind of just need to throw your brand guidelines out the window now. Creative directors need to kind of completely change their mindset. We're actually looking at some assets that were working really well the other day, and the creator on the camera was just lying in his bed like this, kind of like that, and all he's and kind of did that, and that started to really work, and all the assets from there for like months were shot like this, just around their pillow like this. And really insightful, because going back to that very human-led approach, it almost mirrored how someone is watching TikTok. So someone is actually like that in their bed. So I was like, of course this is going to resonate.
Yeah.
So it's people looking at themselves. That's what I think it's going to stay.
Interesting. And just to end on, like, what's like one key piece of advice you could give to e-commerce marketers going into 2023?
Growth mindset, hands down. I call it positive pragmatism, but I think the proper term in the Lex kind of self-help books and business culture is a growth mindset. That's crucial. There's a lot of opportunity, particularly like we're seeing the data from the US. Consumer confidence is still very high. People are still buying. Other markets, Canada, Australia, so on, the English-speaking markets, not to mind parts of Europe. UK is wobbly. That budget last year didn't help, but there's still pockets of value in the UK market as well, and everywhere else. If you have a great product and you go about it with positive pragmatism and you match the customer where they are, you're still going to have a good time. And especially with other brands pulling back, more blue ocean for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Really appreciate you coming in.
Cheers, Luke.
Cheers.
Thank you.